What's going on, guys? It is me, Tyson the Trainer, back with another video for you and another podcast for you. And today I want to talk to you guys about my progress with my dieting, and just to give you guys a bit of an idea about, I guess the whole dieting process, how I went through it, so you get an idea about, how to do it successfully. Because I have been sharing a lot on Instagram, I've been talking a lot about dieting and stuff over the last few weeks, and just because I am going through it, and I was like, you know what, this is like a perfect opportunity to kind of document things along the way, and just so you guys get a bit of an idea about, how I went about everything and why I decided to do it, and, a whole insight, to be honest, just so you can get a generalized idea. Now, this is going to be, there's going to be a little bit of technicality stuff in here that I want to cover on more of the sports nutrition side of things too, so you get a bit of understanding, just so you guys can kind of get a whole approach about, what I would be doing for normal people versus what I would be doing for if you are more of an athlete, okay? So my starting weight was 92.5 to 93 kilos, and I need to cut down to 86 kilos for fighting, because I would like to fight this year. I don't think I'm going to be a professional fighter, I just want to do some fighting. And so the weight class for me was either 92 or 86, which is a bit of a six kilo difference. Now the reason my coach wanted me to go down below 92 is just because a lot of big boys, who can be 110 all the way down, who are taller than me, have a lot more mass than me, they can cut down to 92 quite easily, and I would be fighting people who would be out of my league, and they would wreck me. So the coach said, you know what, best thing to do is to get down to 86 kilos. And I was like, all right, cool. So instead of going to 86, I decided to get to 85 flat. 88 flat, because losing 2 kilos of water weight is actually quite easy for when the fight comes up. Especially since I'm not probably gonna have a fight until later on in the year, quite a lot, because I'm a beginner boxer. And so that means if I can sit at this weight now, I can focus on performance, okay? And this is, again, it's when we think about an athlete side of things, I personally am quite biased when it comes to getting to your weight as soon as possible versus, trying to water cut or anything before the fight, when it comes down to it. Or losing a lot of weight before the fight. Because people think that, they can maintain whatever they want to maintain, and then when they get close to they're getting close towards their fight, they can lose 4, 5, 6, 7 kilos, whatever they think they need. I'm just grabbing my coffee. Whatever they think they need to lose, and it's well, fucking, if you want to have the best chance of performing well, if you want to make sure that, you're actually going to make weight, and if you just want to make sure that you're in such a good spot, then I would actually say get to your weight before you need to. Because again, having that stress, having that pressure, performing at lower, or performing lower overall, having lower performance, all these things are just negatives at the end of the day. And so it's if we can get to a goal weight or close to a goal weight before the event, you're in a much better position. Okay? Now this goes for most sports. I wouldn't say bodybuilding, because you're not going to be walking around dick skin shredded, 6, 10, 12 weeks, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months out, because you're going to be shit, okay? But if you are going to be in a weight class sport, I would say the closer you can get to your weight, the better. Because people are like, oh, well, if I'm bigger, I'm stronger. So let's talk about powerlifting and things like that. Yeah, true, mass moves mass, but then also you can get stronger at a lighter body weight, because strength is still neurological at the end of the day, okay? Obviously, having some more muscle mass and having a bigger frame does allow you to move more weight, but we're seeing really light people move really heavy weights because of the neurological, because the neurons firing, and it's it's a strength production, right? Strength is, again, neurological for the most part, so being able to push yourself strength-wise doesn't require you to be a certain weight, That's why we have people who are fucking lighter that can lift than people who are heavier. It just is what it is. And so with that being said, I'm just going to argue against that point and get to your weight as close, get as close to your weight as possible, so it's easy to diet when you get there, right? So my starting calories when I first started dieting, I was at 4,700, maintaining 92.5 to 93 kilos, and I was doing about 20-ish thousand steps a day, 20 to 22,000 a day, and also training 7 days a week, okay? So 4 days weight training, 3 days boxing. That's what I've been doing, that's what I'm still doing, and I'm incorporating a little bit more running because my shins are better. Finally, it's been for ages, I got a few 5Ks in. The shins are a bit tender today, so I'm going to give it a few days rest, but I'm just glad that I can actually start to run again for the most part. So when I was sitting at 92.5 kilos, I wasn't overweight, you know, I was still relatively quite lean. I was probably sitting around 11% body fat. And now that I'm at 87.5, I'm probably sitting at about 9% body fat, okay? So this has been, for me, losing about 600 to 800 grams a week, give or take, which means I'm in about a 700 calorie deficit. So firstly, I cut from 45 to 4,700. Again, it was a range because I wasn't tracking on maintenance. And when I did a few days of just tracking, you know, some days were 45, some days were over. Like, it really always depended on how I felt at dinner time. Like, do I want dessert tonight? Do I not want dessert tonight? And I literally have a whole year sitting at 92 kilos, focusing on just maintaining, enjoying life a little bit, being in a really good place. And it was actually great, you know, being able to eat that much food. I had no food focus. I was able to have all the flexibility I wanted. Like, I could fucking do anything I wanted. Like 4,700 calories a day, you pretty much can fit in whatever you want. Every Friday night, I'd have a takeaway night. I don't track anyways, but that takeaway night would be much higher calories than I thought. And this is also why I want to talk to you guys about when you're in maintenance calories, you get the freedom to enjoy yourself more and not focus on all these things. All right, you don't have to worry about the extra fat gain, especially if you're consistent more than anything. If you're consistent with your calories and stuff, like 90% of the time, if you have a night out here and there, if you go over your calories, there's going to be no detriments. No, it's not going to be detrimental to your overall health. So I maintained 92.5 kilos fucking easy for a year. And that meant when it was come to dieting, honestly, this diet was a walk in the park. I fell off track once this whole time during dieting, okay? So just to give you guys an idea, I started at 4,700 calories. I dropped it down to 3,700 calories, all right? Now, it sounds like a 1,000 calorie deficit. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot. The thing with this is that when I dropped down my calories, because I was going between 45, 47, I was like, you know what, if we do 3,700, I know I'm going to see a good chunk of weight come off regardless. And because I'm 92.5 kilos, I can lose up to about, you know, % of body weight a week, so about 900 grams, give or take. And so I knew if I created this deficit, I'm going to lose between 600 to 900 grams a week. Okay. Now, the thing is, we have metabolic adaptation. So just like we talk about how metabolic adaptation can go down, metabolic adaptation could go up. So my maintenance are a little bit higher than usual. They probably should have been sitting at about 43, 4,200. So then when I went down to 3,700, I was only losing about 700-ish to 800 grams a week, okay? And that meant I was in about a 700 to 800 calorie deficit, which is cool. So all I did to change my food around is I took away dessert for the most part, because my dessert was an easy, you know, 700-800 calories, and that created the deficit in itself. Okay. Now, the funny thing is I didn't change much else, because when it comes to my daily habits of what I eat, I literally eat the same shit, whether I'm trying to diet, whether I'm trying to maintain, or whether I'm trying to gain. Okay. I have 4 meals a day. I spread out my protein over those 4 meals. I make sure I get 5 servings of whole grains a day. I make sure I get 2 to 4 servings of calcium a day. Usually they come from my coffees and my protein powder and my yogurt. I make sure that I get 500 grams of veggies in a day, fucking easy. I get about 400 to 500 grams of fruit a day, which you should be getting about 300. I just get extra because I love fruit. What else did I do? Dairy, whole grains, veggies, fruit, protein. Fiber was about 60 grams, give or take. So you guys know I practice what I preach all the fucking time, and I literally eat the same shit. And so since going into a calorie deficit, the only thing that I changed was my fattier cuts of meat to leaner cuts of meat, for the most part. I actually added in more multi-grain rices. So I was getting mixed rice cups like brown rice and what was the other one? Like couscous. Or I was getting quinoa, multi-grain quinoa, and jasmine rice, or just like some mixes. So I was getting some more whole grains in my diet. Because like the biggest thing that I know to fill me up and keep me satisfied is my whole grains and my fiber and my protein and my veggies, right? If I get all those things in, and my fruit obviously, if I get all those daily habits in, hunger becomes a non-issue. But in saying that, I went down to 3,700 calories, and you guys are like, oh, 3,700 calories, fuck, is he even dieting? It's all relevant at the end of the day. Like, that's why I was saying, you know, when I was on 47, I could eat more if I wanted to eat more. Like, I still had to have restraint. And so everyone's different. A 50 kilo female is gonna have a different appetite to a 90 kilo male, okay? I'm more active, all right? If you guys like, you know, everyone's like, oh, I wanna be able to eat more. Well, fuck, do 22,000 steps a day, right? Exercise 7 days a week like I do, okay? Weigh as much as I do, and then you'll be able to eat that much. But a lot of people aren't willing to fucking do the steps and the exercise. Plus, this is my job. I work on a treadmill all day for clients, so I can easily integrate this into my diet. So we always have to, there's always going to be things where you're going to be jealous of that I can do this and you can't do that. But in saying that, even though I had 3,700 calories, I had to make sure it was whole, nutritious, filling foods that's going to make sure I'm satisfied. Because again, 3,700 calories, I wasn't super hungry, but there were definitely days where I'm like, fuck man, I want more food. Just because there's still an energy gap of 1,000 calories that I was eating more or less. All right, so I hope you guys understand that so far. So, with that being said, I had 3,700 calories. My protein was at double my body weight, so I got about 180 to 220 grams a day. So I was actually going a little bit over my protein, which I didn't care about because at the end of the day, like I tell you guys, calories are overall king. Double your body weight in protein, let the calories fall where the rest they want. And literally, even though I'm an athlete, I was getting between 400 to 600 grams of carbs a day. So I'm not going to be losing any intensity or anything like that. Like even having 400 grams of carbohydrates a day is still absolutely fine, right? And so again, you guys are all going to be different, but I'm just to explain to you, I'm lean, okay? I'm leaner than the majority of the population. I'm still not eating fucking within 5 grams of macros or trying to do all these specific ratios and stuff like that because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. And if I'm showing you guys I can do this and I'm leaner than a lot of people, getting towards, I'm not going to say bodybuilding lean, but like, fuck man, I've got ab veins coming through and I'm not focusing on my macro ratios. All right, so a lot of coaches out there just don't know what they're fucking talking about, okay? So again, calories, protein, ate whatever I wanted to eat for the rest of it in regards to carbs and fats. I just made sure I was having balance overall with my diet. So, getting my habits in for the day. So with that, I had 4 meals a day. Actually, 4 meals and, maybe 3 main meals and like 2 snacks, I guess. Because in the morning, I would wake up and eat my 2 LCM bars for my boxing training days. On my non-boxing training days, I wouldn't have my LCM bars because I just wanted a quick source of carbohydrates really quick. I still got to stick with my coffee, so I swapped my full-fat cappuccinos to my skim cappuccinos. Easy swap there. I made sure that I was keeping active every single day and getting my steps in. And I just eliminated all my variables. So like I talked to you guys, and like you've seen, I drank once during this whole diet, okay? Because I've told myself once a quarter I can party, which means I can have some drugs and drink, okay? I'm fully open with you guys about what I do because I want you to realize that I'm a normal person too. And I just decided, I actually had it all planned out, which is just the weekend that went past. I had a festival on the weekend and where I got to enjoy myself, okay? But apart from that, didn't drink. I said no to social events that required me maybe drinking or me staying out late. So I said no to that. We stopped going out to dinner as much, all right? I would have coffee with my friends when I caught up with them or would go for walks. So all I did was take away the things that would make me fall off track. So eliminating drinking, eliminating overeating, doing activities versus sitting on my ass with friends and potentially having a chance to overeat at all. And it made life so much easier, all right? And again, it's only a short amount of time. Like this is gonna be an 8-week diet overall. So between 8 to 12 weeks, right? That's 2 to 3 months of dieting. It's not a long fucking period of time. And so, like I've talked to you guys before, I flicked the switch. When I said I'm dieting, okay? I changed my Uber Eats orders. So when I do Uber Eats, I only get Guzman and Gomez, I get Subway, or I get Thai food with stir-fry oyster sauce. They're my 3 choices. I don't get Macca's anymore, all right? I don't get, in Newtown here in Sydney, we have a lot of cool foods. I don't get any of that stuff. Okay? When I go out to eat, when I've had breakfasts, eggs on toast with coffee, all right? Or just a coffee. Literally, I just cut out any type of chance where I would fall off track, okay? Because it makes life so much easier when you reduce the variables. Was I a little bit boring? Yes, but guess what? I'm successful with my dieting that I got down to 87.5, okay? Or 87.2, give or take. Just because I learned that I was gonna have to flick the switch and say no to certain things, right? Now, I did still make sure I prioritized my pre-workout, like I said. So I'd always make sure I had carbohydrates before my boxing, which was my LCMs. And then I also made sure that if I was going to go and train in the gym, I'd have a meal 2 hours beforehand with some carbohydrates because I wanted to keep my intensity high. All right? So they're going to be the big things with the sports nutrition side of things that I focused on. So it's pre and post workout, getting nutrients in, getting nutrients in after, okay? They're the things that I wanted to focus on and also spreading my meals 4 times throughout the day to get evenly spread protein. Like literally, they're my 2 sports things that I was focusing on. Okay, so apart from that, reducing the variables, focusing on pre and post workout, getting 4 meals across the day, I literally just was like a robot. I just showed up every single day. I got my steps in every single day. I actually started to increase my steps to about 25 to 30,000 a day. Why? Because I had the time to do it, because it created a bigger energy gap that was easier for me to be able to maintain. And that way, just in case I was inaccurately, because I wasn't tracking everything specifically, because I know roughly what's in food, I was just making sure I had a huge energy gap no matter what. And so this way, I was losing like 700 grams consistently a week, okay? So again, I've lost 5 kilos from 92.5 to 87.5 in, what's it been, 8 weeks? Is that 7 times 8? Is that right? 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 8 is 56. Yeah, about 700 grams a week, give or take, in 8 weeks, okay? And that's just because I was consistently sticking to my food. On my weekends, I didn't change anything. I kept my my food the same. I had a Friday night takeaway night. Like I said, it was one of the 3 Uber Eats choices, and that was it, okay? I was really good. I was fucking cruising along. I had no hunger because I didn't diet for a year. My body's basically been like, oh, thank God we get a rest from food. And you know what's funny? Even though I was 92 kilos and I was like, I don't know, 10, 11% body fat, I am healthier now than I was then. Okay? Not just because I've lost weight. Well, it is, but like I actually think 92 may have been a little bit too heavy for me. Even though I've been up to 97 before, my blood pressure has come back down. Okay, it wasn't super high, but it was higher. My resting heart rate has come down to 50 beats per minute when it used to be about 65 beats per minute. My sleep has gotten better, okay? I am just, again, I feel lighter on my feet, which means I can move more. Again, I'm just a lighter individual overall. Like, I think this has actually just been great for my overall health too. Even though, again, I wasn't physically out of shape and I'm quite in shape, it just is, I feel like I've just taken stress off my body that my body needed, and especially my digestion too. Because I was eating so much food, it's just like constantly, food in my stomach, and then I've got to have a little bit of a rest. So this is what I'm saying. Like, the reason I'm so successful with my diet is because I reduced the variables. I said no to certain things. I didn't diet for a year straight of maintaining. That put me in a good place. When I wanted to diet, it flicked the switch, okay? Now, I was going really, really good until last week. So I was going to Brisbane. I already had this Brisbane trip planned. I had a friend's birthday and I had a festival planned, okay? So I was seeing people in Brisbane. I was very, very active. I was, going around, getting my steps in. I was getting still like 30,000 steps a day, but I was missing meals throughout the day because I was seeing people and I was just getting little bits of food in here and there. And so Friday night came around. It was my friend's birthday and we were supposed to have a barbecue. And there was like snacks and nibblies and stuff there. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll have one chip. Oh, I'll have a cracker. Oh, and then I was sitting right next to the platter and I just kept picking and picking and picking and picking. And I definitely went off track on Friday night. I just overate too much, and I learned from that thing. I learned from that mistake to stay away from food that makes me want to pick, like platters and stuff like that, but also to make sure I'm eating regularly throughout the day. Because I notice whenever I create a big energy gap during the day and I have lots of calories left over for the evening, no matter whether I hit those calories or not, and I'm full, my body is still like, we want more food. And that, there's so, like, all in Brisbane, I probably had like 4 times where I nearly overate, okay? The only time I did overeat was Friday night. Thursday night, I came home. Again, I missed my meals. I had a huge feed. I was so full, but I was still like, oh, fuck, I want to have something. But I told myself, I can have a little bit of Weet-Bix, and then I'm going to clean my teeth and I'm going to go to bed. So I gave myself specific instructions. I'm going to have this little bit. I'm going to clean my teeth. I'm going to go to bed instead of giving into that indulgence. So I managed to kind of stay away from it, again, until Friday. And so I'm like, fuck. I messed up on Friday. I felt really full. My stomach was heavy. I went to bed. I woke up on Saturday, okay? Now, here's the thing. I woke up on Saturday, and it was a festival on Saturday. And I was going to drink at the festival and have some fun, if you know what I'm saying. And I was like, but I'm still going to be on track today because I'm not going to let one day, I never let one day turn into 2 days. So even though I had that festival, first thing I did, I woke up in the morning, I got a whole bunch of steps in because the festival started at 12. So I smashed out 22,000 steps before the festival. I had my breakfast, made sure I had protein. I had actually protein Weet-Bix, like protein powder, Weet-Bix, that thing if you guys have seen on my Instagram. That's what I had, okay? So I made sure I had that. Because that way I wanted to make sure I had some food in my stomach before I obviously went to the festival, and I still saved calories for drinks. Now, I'm not a big drinker, and I was like, all right, man, festival drinks are so expensive and so shit for the most part because you don't get pardon me, you don't get diet drinks, or you do, like what did I get? Oh, it was some seltzer. It was absolutely disgusting, okay? But each drink was 150 calories. So I knew I had 1,500 calories, I'm gonna have 10 drinks, all right? So I knew I allocated 1,500 calories for that. Now, a lot of you don't have that many calories for that, but that's what I allocated. So I had my breakfast, then I also had, just before I went into the festival, I had another protein shake, so I got some protein in for the day. I had my drinks during the day. I was dancing around. I got up to like 38,000 steps. I was pretty cooked. I didn't eat during the day. I got home. I had another serving of protein. I had 2 Chobani Greek yogurts. So I know for that day, I actually probably underate, okay? But my mission on that day was to stay on track, was to hit my steps and hit my food. And I did that, because I'm not letting one day turn into 2 days. And even though I stuffed up on Friday night and I had the festival on Saturday, I said, no, I'm not letting one day turn into 2 days. And it's about having that mentality of committing to what you wanted to do, to what you want to do, all right? If you do not want to make, like, if you're like, oh, well, I fucked up yesterday, but I'm going to this festival today to have fun, okay, sweet. If you don't want to diet at a festival, or you don't want to diet at certain points when you go on holidays, that's absolutely fine. But I had committed to my diet, and I said, even though I'm going to Brisbane, I'm going to commit, okay? So when I got to Brisbane, I went food shopping for my Airbnb, because I had a stove. So I got really quick meals. I got like my Chobani Fits, my YoPros. I got fruit. I got the Weet-Bix bites. I got microwave rice. I got everything that I could cook at home, okay? I didn't eat out even though I saw with friends and stuff, I ate out once. Right, we went and got burgers. Actually, I went and got burgers and Nando's. So I went with my friend Anita, and then I went with my friend Riley. We went to a burger place. I got a grilled chicken burger. Boring, got no sauce on it. So I saved myself some calories. Then when I went out with Anita, we went and got Nando's. I got a grilled chicken wrap with no aioli sauce. So just barbecue base. Again, saving myself some calories. I got broccolini on the side instead of chips. So I'm making calorie conscious decisions, okay? I didn't say, oh, I'm on holidays, I'm just gonna relax, because I can commit while I'm on holidays. I just, have a focus. And you don't have to, but if you say you want to diet, you want to commit, do your fucking meal prep when you go away, I walked everywhere in Brisbane. Even though I was hot, sorry, I didn't walk everywhere. I walked a majority of the time everywhere, even though I was hot. I stayed in Fortitude Valley. I could walk around near the city where the gym was, because I was at Fitness First. I did all my steps around the water. The only time I would drive is obviously going to the festival, and then also getting picked up from my mate when we went to train at North Lakes, because it's quite far away. But apart from that, I was walking everywhere because I needed to get my steps in. And so when traveling, again, if you can be active, be active. Don't fucking drive everywhere. Like in cities, it's so easy to walk around or to cycle because you have those bikes, and like you can get your activity in. So that's what I did. So that's how I was still able to commit while I was on holidays. And then Saturday happened, got home late, ate my food, passed out, woke up in the morning, normal time, got out, got my steps in, actually went for a 5K run, even though I was cooked in the morning, still got it all done because I was committed. And it's like, this isn't gonna happen overnight and you're not gonna change your life. But like, I wanna give you guys an idea, like when you commit to something, fucking commit to something. The fact that I fell off once during the 8 weeks is the best I have actually ever done in my life. Just because I had I've had practice runs of dieting before, obviously, but also because I just haven't dieted in a long period of time. And so my mindset was there, and also I had the focus. I wanted to get in, I wanted to get it done, I wanted to get out. And I want to show you guys how you can do it. So with that being said, you guys do not have to be like me. And I never expect my clients to be like me. I would never say, go to a festival, wake up the next day, go get a 5K run in. I would never say, oh, you better go and get 30,000 steps or whatever it is. But it's like, fuck, man. If you go out on a Friday night, maybe you can say no to some drinks. If you wake up on a Sunday, maybe you say no to fucking Uber Eats instead of being lazy and sitting in bed all day because you drank all of Saturday night, okay? And also, like, just learn to say no to shit. You don't have to be as boring as me, but like I wanted to get in and get out. If you learn to say no and you learn just to be able to be like, all right, you know what, for this period of time, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to do all this stuff, it makes life way easier. Because when you're done, you're done, I'm done my diet now, and it's been 8 fucking weeks. And then guess what? I'm now back to maintaining. Sweet, happy days. I can do whatever the fuck I want to do. Did I miss out on anything? No. Like, literally, what do I feel like I missed out on? Oh, I didn't go to like 2 social events that involved drinking. Oh, no. Are they still my friends? Yes. Am I going to be able to go back out in the future? Yes. Do I have more freedom now? Yes. Why? Because I fucking committed. And I think a lot of you guys need to understand this. Learn to commit. Okay? like I said, you're probably not going to do everything that I can do because I'm experienced and this is also my career and I've learned from it, right? But you guys can do like a quarter of what I've done. You can show up and get 10,000 steps a day instead of getting 30,000 steps a day, okay? You can make better choices when you go to eat out, or maybe even eat out a little bit less versus saying no to everything like I did. You can stop being a fucking lazy person on the weekend and go and do what you need to do. And like, this is just tough love for you guys at the end of the day, because I'm just showing you, like, you know, black and white. You guys see what I'm doing. I practice what I preach. I show everything I do because I want that transparency, you know? And when I fell off track, I talked about it on Instagram. I'm telling you guys now what happened and how I got back on track. Because you never let one day turn into 2 days. That's all I keep saying to you guys. Don't let one day turn into 2 days, okay? Other things that made my life way easier that I always talk about. I meal prepped every weekend. I didn't meal prep, sorry. I went food shopping. My partner cooked for me because she's a good cook and I'm shit. But I told her what I need to have, okay? So she cooks, I clean. That's kind of how it works for the most part. So we got that done, right? I got meal prep every single week, okay? I bought pre-made meals for in case I wanted to get something. So like I got Papa Macros, so that way the food was always there. I just did things that literally like, it's like it's a pathway to success for the most part. So like saying no to things, preparing ahead of time so when your diet brain gets hungry, you have food already in the fridge. I kept a routine where I got my steps in and my training in every day. I said no to certain things that I wanted to say yes to, but I gave into a short-term sacrifice for long-term success. And I just showed up every single day and did exactly what I needed to do. Okay, and then again with my diet, I didn't change anything. I wasn't adding in fun foods. My diet was boring as, like, it was ridiculously boring, okay? Literally the non-exciting stuff that you guys see, I stuck to. Lunches were like a protein source, so it'd be chicken or red meat with the carbohydrate source, so it'd be whole grain rice, or it'd be some bread, some Helga's bread, or it would be wholemeal pasta, something super boring like that, okay? I didn't use sugar-free maple syrup on shit. I didn't look for my little Nutella spoonfuls of my fucking Biscoff and stuff like that because I'm an adult and I don't need all these little fun foods during the day. And I had the calories for it. This is the thing you guys need to understand. I had calories for that shit, but I didn't use it for that. I used it for whole foods. It's going to keep me full and keep me on track. You know what my fun food was for the day? It was cereal every night. That's what I had, cereal every night, a bowl full of cereal. Pretty boring, but that's what it was, okay? I guess you could say my LCM bars were fun, right? But they're not anything high calorie either. And it's just like, I just ate like an adult, like I tell you guys all the time. Because when you eat like an adult, well, it's actually sad to say because 85%, only 7% of Australians get in their veggies for the day. So you're not really an adult, like adults aren't eating right. But you know what I'm saying? I ate like I should be eating. And that reduced my food focus. That reduced my hunger. That kept me consistent. I'm doing the things that I tell you guys that I did all the time, okay? And consistently, the scale was going up and down, up and down. But guess what? I didn't care what the scale was saying. I looked at my measurements were going down. Was my overall scale weight trending down each week? Yes. Was there days it went up? Yes. Did I care? No. Did I keep doing what I was doing? Yes. Because I knew, at the end of the day, if I did my steps, if I trained, if I ate my food, I knew that I was losing body fat. Just like I tell you guys, doesn't matter what that scale said. If it said I was up, I didn't care because I knew I was doing what I needed to do. And this is why I'm like, don't get hung up on the scale. If you eat your food, if you do your steps, if you're training, you know what, even if you eat your food and do your steps, because again, training's not going to burn that many extra calories. If you do those two things, you shouldn't be questioning, oh, why is the scale up today? What's going on? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you know, I did my steps, I did my food, because it's going to go down eventually. The scale is not saying, hey, you fucked up yesterday, you went overboard, unless you did. And so it's like, always ask that question in your head. Oh, my scale's up. Did I eat yesterday normally? Yes. Was I on track with my food? Yes. Was I doing my steps yesterday? Yes. Doesn't my scale weight matter today? No. All right? No, it doesn't. And so I just stuck to what I needed to do. And I'm really telling you guys, it really is boring, consistent, day after day, same shit for months. Okay? And if you learn to be bored, if you learn to accept that it's going to be a boring process and you just do what you need to do, life becomes so much easier when it comes to dieting. Okay? And like just learning to say no and also have the conversation with people. Come on, Tyson, why aren't you drinking? Look, I'm really trying to stick to my diet at the moment. I just don't want to drink, all right? I know obviously come out and I said I'm going to have 1 or 2, but please don't force me. I really need to get in this groove. My coach is trying to help me lose some weight, and that's what my focus is at the moment. If you talk to your friends and have the conversation that you don't have because you're making up the thing in your head, oh, my friends want me to do this, oh, they're going to push me, oh, they don't care. Like, yeah, there are going to be some friends out there that do that, and they're shit friends, by the way. If they're trying to force you to do something that you're trying to better yourself for, shit friends. How about you just try and have a conversation with people and explain to them? Because a lot of people don't understand. Like, we know, like, oh, I'm dieting, and some people are like, oh, yeah, okay, I've heard the dieting thing before. But explain to them why you're dieting, why your goals are important, and learn to have a conversation that you might be a little bit uncomfortable with. Because people aren't willing to have a conversation that, it's not even that uncomfortable. It's just to tell people what's going on, you know? But people don't want to have that conversation. And you're like, oh, but my friends made me, oh, like when people complain about that, it's like, you've chosen to diet at the end of the day. I keep saying this on my Instagram too. You have chosen. No one's holding the gun to your head. No one's saying, you better bloody diet, mate. Like, you've chosen it. And if you choose to do something, learn to commit, learn to follow through. Because people fucking go back and forth all the time. Should I diet? Should I not diet? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I want to do this weekend. Oh, it's my friend's 30th. Oh, it's my friend's 21st. Oh, it's my long lost cousin's second marriage fucking birthday. Like, we will find any excuse we want to be able to go to a party and drink or have some type of excuse. And if you want to use that excuse, cool, use the excuse. Like when clients say to me, hey, I want to go out this weekend and drink because it's blah, blah. I'm like, all right, well, just accept that you're probably not going to see progress. Like people don't know what to say. It's like, what do you want, man? Like, what the fuck do you want? Some people can drink and socialize and stay on track. I can't, all right? That festival was like an exception to the rule. Usually, I'll drink until I get slaughtered, okay? And it would have ruined all of my calories for the day, and then I would have got a kebab and stuff after, you know? And so it's like, thankfully, that didn't happen because I was committed to stay on track, but that's why I reduce the variables. That's why I don't do that shit for the rest of my diet. Because of fucking hell, man. Like, imagine missing out on a few events in 3 months, all right? Let's say every second week. So you miss out on 6 events. Oh my God, 6 events. Fuck, man. Are they gonna make or break you? No. Are your friends never gonna talk to you again? No, you know? Or like, go to the event, just don't drink and have the conversation again. So it's really about like what your commitment is and what you wanna stick to at the end of the day and like how much you're willing to actually do what you say you wanna do, okay? So I just wanted to give you guys an insight about how I did it, all right? And now here's the thing, here's the funny thing. So I'm down to 87.5, okay? I'm actually at 88 kilos because I've gained half a kilo back. Sorry, I was at 87.2 and now I've gained 800 grams back. All right, so about 1% of my body weight. This has come back because my water weight has increased from muscle glycogen and also there's more food in my stomach. So here's cool. I was losing 700 grams a week. I knew I was losing 700 grams a week because I was consistently watching it. So what I decided to do was drop my steps back to 20,000, calculate my new maintenance off my 20,000. So I went 88. Even though it's 87.2, I knew I'd jump up to 88. So I went 88 times 24 times 2, all right? 4,200 calories. I've gone straight back up to 4,200 calories. I've got the same same waist measurements, same body composition, same everything measurements, and I'm eating an extra 700 calories a day, okay? Sorry, an extra 500 calories a day, and I've reduced my steps by down to 20,000. So it's like I've made up that calorie gap of the 700 through food and reducing my exercise. And I didn't fucking reverse diet. I've done it in 1 day. And now I'm maintaining my weight consistently at 88 kilos flat. I don't look worse, I look better. My muscles are more filled out. I have veins, feeling good, I have energy. I didn't fucking stupidly reverse diet because you don't need to reverse diet, okay? If I'm losing 700 grams a week or 500 grams a week or 300 grams a week, if you're losing that when you hit your goal weight and you were losing that beforehand, you know roughly, well, I'll tell you now, for every roughly 100 calories you're in a deficit, you're gonna lose about 90 to 90-ish grams, okay? So for me, losing 700 grams a week, I knew I was at about 700 to 800 calorie deficit, okay? So 500 from food, dropping my steps down, bridge that gap. Why do I have to reverse if I'm losing that weight every week? And I just know if I am losing 500 grams, I'm in a 600 calorie deficit, I just need to eat 600 calories to stop the weight loss a day. I think people don't understand that. If you're losing a certain amount of weight a week, It means you're in a certain amount of calorie deficit. It means when you eat those calories back, you're just going to stop losing weight and maintain your new weight. So beat reverse dieting. You know, don't worry about that shit because it's a waste of time. So I'm just eating my brand new calories at 4,200. Okay, so I've lost a little bit of calories from losing 5 kilos of body weight, but also I've lowered my steps. And I'm happy to eat 4,200 calories a day, maintaining, being able to do 20,000 steps a day. Like, that's a fucking good place for me to be in, you know? And now I get to focus on performance. Now, until my boxing comes up, I can stay at this weight consistently, because 4,200 calories is plenty of food, training, getting better, improving my performance, possibly even body composition a little bit and getting even leaner, while I can focus on eating as much food as I can, okay? And that is how my deficit has gone. That is how I've given you guys an insight. Now, here's the funny thing. This is my deficit for the year, okay? When it comes to fighting, I'm gonna have to create a little bit of a deficit to get to 86, but it's like a water cut and like a little bit less food and low residue diet. So it's not an actual diet. But what I'm trying to say here is I've dieted for that year, okay, for my year. Now I go back to maintenance for as long as I want. And I want you guys to understand this because you're gonna see a lot of fucking people out there who diet more than once a year. And I say, you know, if you're dieting twice a year, okay, cool. If you see your favorite fit-fluencer dieting more than twice a year, that's a red flag, okay? Because most of your fit-fluencers are relatively lean like myself, okay? Yet you see them constantly dieting and they say, I'm in off season and they eat like, they gain like a kilo or two. Then they say they feel puffy and fluffy and they don't want to feel good about their body and they go back into a deficit. And you see these same people losing and gaining the same 2 to 4 kilos and it's like, that's a red flag. If someone is consistently dieting multiple times a year and they're lean, they have issues, okay? Because they can't maintain a body weight or they have body dysmorphia where they think they're overweight and it causes them to diet again to get leaner because they don't feel good about themselves being extremely lean. And you should never have to be extremely lean. So keep an eye out there. If you see people dieting more than twice a year and they're relatively lean, you know they have food issues. And that's why I want to say to you guys, you get your diet done, you get out, you shouldn't be consistently dieting because that is a bad thing to be in, all right? I'm not going to diet again for another year. Probably not even for another year, to be honest, probably even longer. I think I'll probably just stay at this weight for as long as I can, you know, maybe go back up to 90 at some point when I finish fighting because I like to be a bit heavier, but that's it. It's really, really simple, guys. Like, I promise you. It's simple. The pathway is simple. Sometimes it's not easy, but again, if you guys even put in like a little bit of what I've done, you'll make it a lot easier for yourself. All right? So that is the podcast. I hope it helps. If you guys did enjoy it, please share on Instagram and tag me because I love seeing you guys share my stuff. And if you guys have any questions, send me an Instagram DM. And until next time, I'll speak to you guys then.